like to call the sandwich, the bread, and the butter. On this line today, man, I am so excited because these guys here are super at everything that they do. So you know, the first thing we must do is make sure we are live where we said we are, because we must be. Because if we not, then they gonna miss, and we cannot allow that. So I want to show these brothers real quick that we are live on grindcity.biz. If you see us there, then that means we are live on our Roku channel and our app. So Grind City's popping. Let's go on over here to our Facebook page and make sure we are streaming there, and we are streaming there. You hear my big mouth? My name is the Button Pusher, representing Grind City TV and Grind City Media LLC, and I'm not even going to introduce these guys yet. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But when I tell you, we got a banger for you. We got a banger for you. So I'm going to need you guys, you know, brothers don't ask for no favors. We always ask for some good business. So I'm going to need you guys to do some good business and share this show, because it is going down, special edition of Go Live TV. Now, y'all know, before we get into what we do, we got to do a tad bit of station identification. We will be right back. All right, we are back. Special edition, Go Live TV hour. We got the sandwich here, y'all. The sandwich, the bread, and the butter. Y'all see the smile? His sister is super excited. So we're going to start with you, Mr. Emmai, and then we'll move down to you, Mr. Butter. Please, by all means, introduce yourselves. Tell everybody who you are and a little bit about what you do and who you rap. Let's go.
All right, my name's Emmai Alaquiva. I'm a cinematic poet. Some people might call it a filmmaker, and an advocate for those who are deaf, hard of hearing, and those with disabilities, and just a true artist at heart. Art saved my life, and I'm spending the rest of my life helping to save others with art as well. So absolutely splendid to be here. Shout out to you. For just, you know, really paving the way in this media. And we just really appreciate you having us.
Oh, thank you so much. Let's go, Brother Butter.
Hey, thank you. I piggyback on Emmai and say thank you for having us. My name is Butter. I'm a music producer and film and TV composer. And like Queeve said, I mean, music saved my life. I don't know what I'd be doing if I was not doing music today. And quite honestly, I use music as a voice. I'm usually a very quiet person, but I use music to communicate, you know, what I'm trying to say. And I'm grateful to be here.
I'm grateful to have you. I'm grateful to have both of you. First of all, this is huge for me. When you represent, yesterday, I interviewed the young man that's been rapping for less than a year. One of his first stage performances was here. And today I'm interviewing legends and vets, right?
Oh, nice.
And I say that to say this. I love the fact and I appreciate the fact that you guys have embraced and remember the underground, right? Because sometimes when we get in the industry, we don't look back as much. And I want these young people to understand that there are good, strong Emmy winners and platinum producers out here. They ain't forgot about you. You just got to keep putting in the work. So let's talk about it. Bread. That's my bread, y'all. Mr. Bread. Emmai.
Yeah, so, you know, there are a lot of instances where things could be rear view mirror experiences, right? When we get into situations and when you're going in the direction that you're supposed to go in, things get smaller the more you go on your right path.
Yeah.
However, that doesn't negate the fact that that's still a path, because, you know, there's a U-turn for a reason. And once you get to a destination, you know, you can always turn back and visit. And that's essentially what I wanted to do, is how can we utilize that U-turn to make sure that, hey, listen, I might have forgot something. Let me turn around, you know, and let me see kind of how we could give back to our community to help build it, and not necessarily leave it, but how can we leave it for something good and then return it and come back? You know what I mean?
Right.
And
How do you
that's
feel about that, Mr. Butter? How do you feel about that? Do you feel the same? Do you resonate those feelings?
I totally agree. I think there's a misconception as far as artists in general, that, you know, TV may trick people to have them feel that, you know, an artist operates a certain way, a director, or producer, or composer operate a certain way. But, you know, life is life. You know what I mean? And I think life breeds creativity. So, you know, there's a lot of people that feel that they just have to go super hard and that's all they do. And they forget about, you know, responsibilities, or even maybe having a job while they're doing what they're doing, because those experiences are what's going to, you know, have you stay grounded and be able to
Indeed.
touch into, I mean, it's, you know, you won't get a block, because life is going to breed, you know, different experiences and creativity. You know, you got to unplug at times, you know. So I piggyback off of Emmai again, and I am an advocate for anything that's going to uplift or build, you know, and try to keep people from stumbling and you know, learning the hard way, like we did, you know,
Yeah.
coming through the industry. You know, you don't got to hit those bumps.
You know, Donna Baxter, and I know y'all know who she is. She said something very profound to me. She said to me, she said, Buttons, don't let someone tell you you're not a full entrepreneur just because you still hold a job.
Oh yeah.
And you know, that's a misconception. They think that you do have to quit your job to be a full entrepreneur or do something fully. No, you just have to commit mentally and in your heart fully to that next endeavor. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That definitely makes sense. And we got to recognize that webs work when the silk connects.
Oh, say it again. Your sayings are so like. Where's my pencil? The
No,
web works when the silk connects. I've been getting jewels from you, bro.
no. I mean, let's keep it a bean. Silk is one of the strongest substances in the world, but yet it's thinner than a hair follicle.
Yeah.
So when we build webs, when we go through life, we have to think, who are the silk in our lives? What is the silk in our life? Music is silk for my life, right? And that's what we have to think about. And when you think about what silk looks like in your life, there could be some silk that don't look like the other silk. There could be some individuals that might not look like the other silk. There might be some individuals that might not even get along with each other, but they're still silk for your life.
Yeah.
But you have to know how to web it together so that you can check it out, so that you can catch what it is that you want to catch in life.
Yeah.
Because if there are webs that have holes in it, things are going to fall through and you're not going to be able to catch that. So those are the types of things that I incorporate in my life and in my music. And what it is that I do is I really try to focus on that silk. What you think, Bud?
I agree. You know, another jump off of that is just purpose in general. You know, I think if we have our purpose in mind, it keeps us from being distracted and looking to the left and the right. We're able to push straight forward towards what it is, the goal that we're trying to do. And we understand that even if we're in a situation that we don't want to be and we're not at our final destination, we know that it's just a season that we're going through. We're going through to get to wherever we got to go. You know, we might be going through the neighborhood of corporate neighborhood of work until we get to, you know, totally entrepreneurship, but it's just a season. You know, as long as we know what our purpose is, we know that we're just going through to get to.
Wow. Who might you be?
Blush.
Hi.
Blush. I sent you a text. I sent you a text and told you to wait. No,
It's Go
Blush.
Live, baby. It's Go Live. Okay, so there's a feature on here that I am going to employ right now. It's called Lock Meeting. I just learned of this, and I am using it right now. There will be no more guests. Now let's talk about this, brother, and it's definitely going to lead into the main topic of this at the end, at the second segment of it. But let's talk about being young black men. All right, because even as a young person, period, you're lost at some point. We don't always have that focus. We don't always know that direction. When I started hip hop, I thought I was going to be a DJ.
Right.
I thought I was going to be a producer. I thought I was going to be a rapper. I am none of those. I'm something else. So, as young men, let's start with you, Butter, and work our way up. How did you determine that this was your path, and how did you stay on it?
Ooh, that's a good one. I've always known that this was my path. I mean, always. But see, the whole thing was, and Emmai could probably attest to this. I didn't get into it for the chips. Like I wasn't getting into it for the money aspect. Like I literally love to do music from conception to fruition. You know, you have an idea, whether it's a sample or whatever it is. You start with one thing and it grows from one thing, and you go through the process till you get to the fruition. So I was never in it for the reason of, but I've always known that this is what I wanted to do. And, you know, in doing so and moving forward, not to say that I did not stall, because at one point I sold equipment and wasn't going to do it and was into some stuff I shouldn't have been into. And it took life circumstances for me to say, oh, snap, no, I can't do this. And, you know, back up, move out of the city for a minute to regroup and do what I had to do. But I would say, to answer those two, I definitely have always known that this is what I wanted to do. And one thing I would say to anybody young, you know, it's like, I love the acronym for FEAR, false evidence appearing real. I mean, we have to actually go forward in fear, whether or not we know we'll be able to swim in the water or not. That's the only way that we'll either learn how to swim, or we'll be able to regroup and be better, you know, and learn from the lessons. So I think, you know, if we remove the fear of failure out of whatever we try, you know, we gotta fail. That's the only way we're gonna get stronger. You know, I'm not afraid to fail. So I'll go left instead of going up the same path as everybody else, because I got the same opportunity to win or lose going left. But if I go left, then everybody's gonna follow me going left, and I'm gonna be leading the trail. So that's what I think about it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Emmai?
For me, you know, I've been through it a lot in my life, in my 40-something years. But
Baby.
You're 40, Emmai?
Big baby.
Yeah, I'm in my early 40s. So here's the thing. I didn't know, as a young man growing up, I didn't know that music was my path. Very, very much like Butter. When I was 13, I tried to sell drugs and I was unsuccessful. And I was so unsuccessful that one of the first nights that I sold drugs, I got stuck up in Homewood with a gun to my head. And I mean, I ran so fast. I left my bike, you know, left the drugs. And at that point, I said, I have to do something different, or else it's a wrap for me. And that's when I started to listen to hip hop. And I started to listen to, you know, PE. And I started to listen to De La Soul, Me, Myself, and I, which really resonated with me. And believe it or not, when I first met Butter at 98.5 WPTS.
I had to do it.
Yes, listen, when he came with an artist, I think it was Big Hurl.
Yeah, Big HC. Big HC, yeah.
He came and Butter came with this. he came with this this mobile. Remember the brick phones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came up with this brick phone. I'm like, yo, this guy's fascinating. He got a cell phone. Nobody got a cell phone. So we talked at the radio station, and matter a couple weeks later, because I started out as a rapper, and I went over and to Belle Suver, where Bud was from. I thought it was a world away because it's the first time I had to catch 2 buses to get
Two
to
buses.
and I had to walk up
46K.
the hill. I don't know if it was Shelfon or whatever the name is.
Stella, yeah.
And then the way he produced in front of me, it literally changed my life forever. Seeing this guy produce on a MT100 Yamaha 4-track with a SK1 with the yellow drums and a bag of Doritos. He would often smash some potatoes, type of shit while he was producing. And I thought it was the most fascinating thing ever in the history of life. So that's when I knew that, okay, cool. If this brother could do it, I can find it in myself to do it. So I got into production because of this man right here.
Oh man. See, I'm getting the jewels today. You know what? Salute. The fact that you're still friends.
Yes.
And have got to such high levels in this. It's so beautiful to see, brothers. It is. My hip hop story was Karis One came to the Coliseum. And I was like 13 maybe. My mom said, "Did you do your tours?" Yes, ma'am, I did them twice. I gotta go. And a lot of people think my real story is Karis One because he was and D Nice on the turntables. But the real story in it for me was Miss Melody. Here I am, this short, heavy-set, dark-skinned chick, thinking I'm not worth too much here. Everybody picks on me. And here's this strong, taller, heavy-set, dark-skinned woman on stage like,
yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
So that attracted me. But the energy of Karis One, if you ever seen me perform, that's where that came from. Because she was smooth, and I know I'm high energy. I would never be that smooth. But the self-esteem that she exhibited allowed the buttons to say, you're fine just the way you are. Go be you, because she got a stage. And later on, whoever didn't get a stage, I built one so you can come. Right? So we keep it moving. You brothers are so phenomenal. Let's get a little bit into your track records. Goodness gracious. Now, Emmai, I remember a story you told me that you went down and filmed The Roots. They didn't have any money. They really couldn't pay you, but you didn't have much. But they said, if you could get here and film this, I promise you, bruh, we will make it worth your while sometime in life. And I tell you what, I've done that so many times and it has not paid off for me, right? Yeah. But to hear that story, it kind of encourages one to continue to try it one more time. Would you like to share that story with people so they can understand really where you started from as far as filming goes?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So Hip Hop on Lock is my arts education program in which I used to hire a lot of students from like CMU, Point Park, and other colleges to film our students. And when they would film the students, they knew all the technical aspects, which was amazing. And the fact that they went to college, they went to school, amazing. We get it. But, they were coming in with language, the Turbo 2000 XL, double X, boom, boom, with this, and then you move this there. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. That sounds great. But a lot of people fail to capture the frequency of a human being and the energy of a soul. Yes. So I started to ask questions. I said, oh, what did you use there? Oh, what did you use there? Oh, what type of mic was that? Oh, what type of camera was that? And one trip to New York, I purchased a Canon 7D from the Best Buy on 23rd Street. I came home, opened the box, didn't read the manual, started pressing buttons, and I started just literally just bow, 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 shooting. And then I was just like, wow, I can get this done. So I started editing on iMovie. I didn't have a whole lot of money, but I had a MacBook. And so I said, oh, boom, boom, let me do this, let me do that. And then I started to tell stories in a way that was kind of different from a lot of the other individuals. So I said, okay, this works for Hip Hop on Lock, but people are calling me to do projects for their own corporation. So I said, maybe not so much. I'm not ready. So I went to my computer. I emailed Ian Wallace, who also goes by Ian Way Lacey, Ian Productions on Instagram. He was interning at OK Player, which is Questlove's, baby, relating to like, social media and things of that nature. So I said, hey, listen, can you ask them if I can come and film something? I'll do it totally for free. Or if they have some money, that's cool. He emails me back and said, probably a long shot, but I'll give it a shot. He emails me back again and says, hey, listen, this might not sound cool, but they don't got no money. They're not going to pay you, yada, yada, yada. If you want to do it, you come up on your own accord. So I literally got a $35 megabus ticket. I put everything in my backpack. In April 2012, I went and shot Shuffle Culture at BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music in Brooklyn. I shot for 2 days. And then on the way back on the megabus, I wanted to impress him. So I edited the whole video on the way back to Pittsburgh, stayed up, no sleep. I stunk, the seat stunk, but I didn't care about that because I was on a mission. So when I turned the edit around the next day, Quest was like, yo, I don't believe you did this this fast. And I said, yes, I did it. I edited it fast. He said, all right, okay, well, this is good. And we'll use it. Then he calls me back a week later and says, hey, listen, I don't believe that you did that on a consistent basis. I don't believe that that's your MO. But let me test you. I'm not going to pay you again, but I want you to direct the Roots Picnic for 2012.
Wow.
The annual Roots Picnic. I'll give you that opportunity. And I had to show and prove. There's no money, but there was equity somewhere else.
Yes.
And sometimes as entrepreneurs, we have to recognize the equity in the something else. Everything don't got to be cash, money, or chips. Chips can come somewhere else. And it's not always about the money, but it's about the movement. And when I understood that, I said, okay, this is movement. This is not money. So once I shot and directed the Roots Picnic that year, he said, that's it. No, say no more. We got you. And to this day, I work with the Roots.
Wow. Now, Butter, wow.
And my fault. Let me just cap it off. Let me just cap it off on how the importance of relationships are. I just shot the very first hip hop masterclass for Carnegie Hall out of New York, and it's never been done in the history of the Carnegie Hall. And that was for Black Thought.
Black Thought. Oh man.
Yes.
But I'd like to ask you how you got connected with West Side Connection, like, because it seemed like after that you kind of just woof.
Yeah. Well, I got connected with West Side Connection from another Pittsburgh native, honestly. Well, in route of another Pittsburgh native. When I left Pittsburgh, I moved to Atlanta for a brief stint. And I eventually ended up in California because Sam Snead was out there. And Sam Snead was working on, shout out to Sam Snead.
Shout out.
He was working on an album at Death Row. And, I had seen him in I think it was McKeesport or something. And I seen it was like over Christmas break or something. And he mentioned, oh man, I want you to come out. I'm like, okay, cool. Because I'm trying to get out of the city. Like Jokers was getting put in the trunk and it was going down around that time. So, needless to say, I hadn't heard from him for a while. So I thought I was like, oh, he was just blowing smoke. So I had to make a move in general to move, out of not having fear to leave the city for a minute, to just get out of whatever drama. Went to Atlanta, and maybe about 6 months later, I got a call from him like, hey, Bud, you want to come out? He said, it's a bunch of us in the 2-bedroom and it's going to be tight. But if you want to make it out, you know, come out. Same like Cleve said, you make it out on your own accord. You know, you make it out and, you know, whatever you can make of it, it is what it is. So I was definitely game for that. And I flew to California, you know, and I literally, you know, I was so excited to be there. You know, cats would be going out to strip clubs and doing other stuff and leaving out and experiencing California, which I had been to California before, but, you know, not in relation to, okay, I'm connected to something that could be part of my destiny, you know? So I took it serious. Cats was going out and I'm on the floor with my drum machine making beats, you know? So to the long story longer of what it is that you asked me in relation to West Side, Sneed had seen a group called Caution in the mall. And some kind of way he struck up a conversation with them. And the only thing that I could assume is that, you know, because he was tied into Death Row, there's certain things that he was obligated to have to do and that he could not exercise. So, you know, he could not exercise going out and doing anything else because, you know, they were super exclusive. It was super, you know, gangster. Like you're not going to go outside of anything without it being something that you don't want it to turn into. So saying that to say, I believe because he couldn't exercise certain things, that he gave me the Magic Johnson behind the back pass to allow me to you know, connect with them. So, you know, I connected with them, played beats or whatnot. They was floored, and praise God, I ended up with, you know, 3 joints on the album, which, you know, I tell this story all the time, and this is not the same as Emmai, but I think about this, man, and it just blows my mind because my mind wasn't necessarily focused on making money. Like I love to do what it was that I was doing as far as making music and beats. When Sneed mentioned initially, like, hey, they want to use 3 joints. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's dope. He's like, and they'll pay you $5 a piece. I'm like, oh man, what? I'm like, 500 for what's on this little floppy disk? 500? He's like, nah, man, they're gonna pay you 5,000. And I was like, yo. At that point, it was a wrap. You ain't have to tell me nothing else. So, you know, I
can imagine.
I believe that excellence begets excellence. So in saying that to say, if our standard is excellence in relation to our relationships, in relation to what it is that we do, it'll attract the other things we want without us trying to make it happen. You know, I've witnessed from different perspectives so many times that, like, if there's something that I really want and I'm doing it out of being desperate, it never happens. But if I'm flowing just creatively and it's not out of desperation, God always seems a way to make it work all the time. So we was able to connect, did that, and through them is how I met Cube, which started the whole, you know, that relationship all the way down the line, you know, with being on multiple albums of his and soundtracks and all type of stuff. But from that one relationship and being excellent with that one thing and not seeing them like, oh, well, okay, this is this, that, and the other. It grew a relationship somewhere else.
That's beautiful. I hear you both saying relationships, relationships, relationships. And you know, I'm still learning that. I'm still growing and I'm still learning that, right? And it's a chore to keep up with relationships now because of technology. Before you picked up the phone and you called somebody and you had a 2 hour long conversation, we move so fast now that we don't have a lot of time. So, how do you encourage young people to start and keep relationships with people that they seem to idolize or look up to or things like that? What would be your suggestion? Let's start with you, E, or Butter, whichever one.
No, go ahead, bud. Fire off.
Because I just thought about something, and I know that you'll agree with me on this. Rule number 1. Rule number 1. God is no respecter of persons. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who's who or what's what. You know what I mean? So everybody is on it's like how the internet is with music now, to where everybody's on a level playing field. you best to treat everybody like they're on a level playing. There is no big dog, no small dog. You just be consistent in the character in which you communicate with people and this, that, and the other. And it'll depend because you don't know who's who.
Yes.
You know, somebody that is a nobody in somebody else's eyes, all it takes is one opportunity for anybody for it to change their life completely and change yours.
Yeah.
So be consistent. And I would say this also, it does not hurt to be somebody that's willing to help somebody. You know what I mean? To be a giver at that stage. You know what I mean? I heard a great story about an article that my wife read, and it was talking about Chance the Rapper. And it was talking about Chance's manager. And I never knew the story about them or nothing, but this was a kid that just wanted an opportunity to serve him for the most part as a fan. And his mind was in such a way creatively that they ended up working together and blowing out of proportion. You never know who's who. So just be excellent and consistent in your character and be willing to serve. I believe that's definitely one thing I would say to anyone.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. From my, time and sort of, here on earth is recognizing that you have to be authentic. I cannot express that enough. Your authenticity literally is the foundation for the pillars that you place your relationships on top of. When you are authentic, people have a chance to get to know who you are and how to process or compartmentalize how they would deal with you. When I was growing up and when I was, younger, in my younger teens, early 20s, I tried to be somebody else that I thought that people should like. I was walking around, fronting and doing this, doing that, not really recognizing the importance of relationships, burning bridges, treating people this way. Listen, I'll be the first to tell you that I am not perfect, but the perfect decision to become the best man that I could be was a perfect decision.
Yes.
And you have to do that with being authentic. And I'll give you one example. I can get into the room with basically anybody. I can get into the room with the real tough and the hard to get along with. I'm okay with that because if they are authentic at who they are, you know what you're going to get before you come in the room. So you already know how to deal with like boom, boom. Okay, cool. I this is what I'm going to get. I get you. I worked with Kelly Rowland one time. I mean, bless her heart, she's very talented. But when we worked together, we didn't. I heard that she wasn't the best person to get along with, but I understood that when I worked with her in the studio. So I knew what I was getting. I used to produce the Wendy Williams show for about a year and a half, the national syndicated radio show. I knew what I was dealing with. So it's about finding common ground with the individual you come in contact with, but also being authentic to embrace them with dignity and respect. And honestly, that has been the number one thing that has gotten me from A to Z. I'll be honest, seriously, because the Roots, for example, or Dr. Maya Angelou, they could pick anybody in the world. But why would you pick this corny looking dude from Pittsburgh to come work with you?
Because you're dope.
No, I'm only dope because of so many dope people, but I recognize that. And if you don't recognize that, you're going to end up by yourself, period.
Yeah.
You know what? That was something that I had to learn because even earlier in my career, when I used to throw shows and was coming out, I had a few chips, right? I'm a female. I'm in this male-dominated game. Nobody's trying to respect what I'm doing. So I felt like I had to walk around and be a little brutal to get what I wanted to accomplish done. And it kind of worked, but it made people see me differently than who I was, right? And again, still learning, still processing. As I grow, I realized the power of my smile is very beautiful. It works.
Yeah,
it is.
And I realized too that God blessed me to be a love being. So I automatically reject anything that's not love. I don't have to work at it. I don't have to try. If you're not
Yeah.
supposed to be around me, you're not supposed to be around me. And what has occurred was, have I accumulated more friends? No. But I have accumulated more opportunities to
Yeah.
do what it is that I desire to do. So, thank you, my brother, especially you, Emmai, because we were there. We
Yeah.
had that bump in that road, right? And I tell you what, my good friend, my good brother, Nate the Fat Barber, he said, Buttons, fix it. And I was bullheaded. I didn't do nothing. It wasn't me. He said, Buttons, call that brother and fix it. And that was what, 15 years ago?
No, and look at
And
where
look,
we are. Listen, young people need to see that. Listen,
yes.
Yeah.
every incredible road will have bumps and rocks in it, but it's how you turn that into positive energy.
The U-turn, as you say.
You know what I'm saying? The U-turn.
The
We sometimes
U-turn.
turn back. Listen, we turn back and fix. Nate, he told me the same thing. Make that U-turn. Don't let that be a rear view mirror experience where it disappears as you go.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, there are some individuals that it's they have to be rear view mirror.
You got to kind of lead them where they at.
You gotta pull off quick. We get
you know who they are.
Yeah, we know who they are. You know what I mean? But to be on this platform at what you've been able to build, what Butter's been able to build. I mean, just look at his wall and behind.
We're about to go there. We're about to hit these walls. Yes.
Listen, this is life. Like, this is a dream of mine to be on this cast.
This is our life.
Likewise.
Like, when I'm looking at your wall, I'm looking at his wall, and I'm looking at my wall.
Yeah.
That's not a piece of paper. That is painted on my wall. Now, our dreams and goals may have been different, but mine was to build my own TV studio. Is what I built. Let's look at these walls back here. Though. I ain't got no Emmys or no platinums, gold records yet. So let's start with you, Butter. How many Oh, where did he go?
Butter, good.
Hi, Butter. He's back.
Hey.
How many platinums records do you have, bro?
I think I'm at 17. Yeah. I think I'm at 17.
What does that feel like, brother?
It doesn't feel. I mean, it feels like me and Emmai. It feels like us on the phone being normal people. It really does. It's almost like, only thing I could equate it to is say for instance, you go home and you're at home. You don't necessarily take pictures of your house when that's your existence. That's what you're existing in, and it just becomes it's what your reality is. It really takes some from the outside looking in for somebody to grasp what God has allowed us to obtain at times. And I think it's good, and I can't say it's bad. I think it keeps us humble and stayed in a position to where we know that it's not us that has God has used us as a vehicle to be able to obtain certain things, and we're not big-headed, but it does take at times to where you have to acknowledge what he has done in order to stunt in a certain certain fashion, just so that nobody.
You see me measure my head. I had to measure my head a little bit, make sure it wasn't too big. What's on that wall back there, Emmai? What's back there, brother? Woo.
Honestly, it's a running joke, but all it is some pieces of furniture. That's what I look at it, because we don't do this for the gram. We do it for generations.
Yeah.
Right. We can only pray that 100 years from now they're studying the work that we've done today.
Facts.
And to have this furniture is cool. It might look cool for a happy hour or whatever the case is, but this work is so crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Working on music that heals the soul. I'm a strong believer that the vibration and frequency in notes can actually heal your body.
Oh yeah.
Could heal your mind in the neurological connections that it has. I believe that images could help to heal your mind based on how you put them together, and then marrying those two, music
Yes, the bread and the butter, baby. We're gonna talk about it. You guys got involved in a new project here. It's been just taking off all over the world. Everybody has interviewed you guys about this. We're going to talk about it, but we're going to first watch this video because, I mean, we can get into the credentials and all the people that you produce and all that, but we really wanted to do this interview so we could talk about Unspeakable and how that came to be and why it's so important in that vibration and that feeling and speaking for people who don't get spoke for all the time. So we're going to go into this video, you guys. Check this out. And when we're done, we're going to talk about Unspeakable and how this came to be. This is phenomenal, you guys. Check it out. We'll be right back. This is GoLiveTv with bread and butter.
Yeah.
Get back. Get over there. I didn't want to go over there, guys. I don't know. Wait a minute. We got to transition over there. No. Where you at? Where'd you go? I don't know where you went. Hold on. You know what happens when this happens? You go to a commercial. We'll be right back. We're going to go to a commercial and figure out why this is not there. Better get with the city. Network Roku. Submit. If you got the hotness and you wanna be on TV, submit. Hip hop, neo soul, reggae, smooth and she TV. Submit. We only play the best, cause we the best in indie TV. Submit. Y'all know who it is, rapping PA Grind City TV. Submit. Grind City TV Network is taking music video submissions for rotation placement. Go to grindcitystudio@gmail.com. Send us your YouTube video URL and your artist name, and we'll get back at you. Airtime is also available for advertising. We're also taking submissions for new indie TV show series. Give K-Bay a call, 412-251-9620 for more information. Add us on Roku, Grind City TV Network. No Roku? See us on the net, grindcity.biz, and get the mobile app on Google Play. Submit. You know how it is, technical difficulties. We're going to figure it out. But for whatever reason, Zoom just went black. And I don't know why it won't come over here. Zoom is on. Like, I see you on my preview, but you're not transitioning over on my program. And I don't know why that is. It's never, ever occurred before. All right, here we go. I want to try something else. Hold up. Commercial part 2. Let's run this a little longer. Yo, we'll be right back, y'all. We're going to work it out. All right, let me try something here.
Grind City.
You are so dope. Hey!
Grind City, baby.
Grind City is where you want to come to get things done. Period.
It's Grind City. GC Live for having me.
Right here at Grind City.
Hoping my goodness gracious. Always happens. Oh my God, I be having the dopest show. And it be some stupid stuff.
Grand City.
You are so dope. Hey!
Grand City, baby.
Grand City.
No, this is live, bro.
You want to come to get things done.
Live.
Period.
It's Grind City. GC Live for having me.
Right here at Grind City.
I don't know why this is happening like this. I just need you. I see you in the preview. All right, hold up. Let's try that.
Shout out Grind City, yo.
There we go. Buzz don't be playing. I will figure it out. It is
Yeah.
what it is. What's good, brothers? I will figure it out.
What's good?
I am a nerd. We don't play. Nerds win the game. So my people watching, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know me. We're going to figure it out. So we just watched that commercial, and we got away from it because we had a little technical difficulty, but I know how to fix this now. So we're going to watch that again so people can understand the importance of it and they can see it and know what we're talking about when we come back. Y'all hang in there. We'll be right back. Alrighty. We are back. GoLiveTv. Thank you all for your patience and watching and all that good stuff. I wanted to make sure you guys got the full impact of what we were talking about because it's so important. You know, when you're talking about the deaf community, you know, your ordinary persons walking down the street, we forget that they are approached the exact same way as everyone else. So you have a young man walking down the street with dreadlocks. He's a black male, and the cop tell him stop, and he can't hear him.
Yeah.
He can't hear him. He's not ignoring him. He's not being defiant. He can't hear what you're saying. And we have people who are not trained properly who may not understand that. So I get the point behind this very powerful message. Let's start with you, Queeve. How did this even come about, bruh?
Yes. So the nucleus of it is that 2 years ago, I wanted to create an activity in which it would sort of break down the superiority, inferiority complex that's oftentimes associated with parenting. So I wanted to do something where me and my daughter were just balanced out. We started out at zero, both of us. So that ended up being ASL, American Sign Language. No one in our family's deaf. I didn't really know anyone who was of the deaf, hard of hearing community. So it proved to be transformative to our relationship, and it helped to improve on my patience as a dad, and just both of us to be able to look at the world differently through another language. I encourage anyone to just learn another language, to really look at the world differently. And so when with the unfortunate demise of George Floyd, I started going out in the streets and doing photography, doing filming, you know, creating videos and protest videos and things of that nature. And my daughter, who would see my work, she said, "Hey, Dad, there's no one doing sign language in any of your work. Not in your protests, not in your photos, you know, none of these videos." And, you know, who, like, an 8-year-old pulled up and was like, "Yo, listen, you're missing."
She called you out, bro.
Listen, my daughter pulled up and said, "Look here, this is, I get it, but there's something missing." And that night, I couldn't go to sleep. So, you know, I just got out the bed and I started writing Unspeakable. And I wanted to use my hip hop history to make sure that I wrote different metaphors and similes that would be close to the language. So when I use things like, we will not be muted, we want to speak volumes, right? And things of that nature with these different nuances, I said, okay, I think we got something here. And then I sent it to our instructor, Amy Crawford. And Amy Crawford said, hey, listen, I love this. Let me bring in Daniel Phillip and let me bring in Greg Pollock in order to make sure that this is right. So once they blessed the script, I called my team, Sydney Cooper, Jack Orman, and then I said, listen, I'm going to do this with no sound so that people can sort of get it. And then someone from the deaf community said, no, you got it wrong. Don't do it silent. Do it with music, because I didn't know this, but there are deaf dancers out there that listen to the vibration of the in order to express themselves. So I said, wow, okay. So who am I going to call to do this music that I got stupid dumb love for, 30-year connection? So I picked up the phone and I told Butter what I was doing. Butter was like, yo, listen, you're wasting your breath.
Oh, wow.
Let me know what you need. Let me know how you want to get it done. I don't care what we got to talk about. Send the video.
Yeah.
I sent the video and Butter just went to work on the music and the nuances and the changes and things. And don't forget, I'm a producer because of him. So I sent him a scratch track of the feel that I wanted. And then when I sent him the scratch track of the feel, he said, no. We're gonna put your feel with some hip hop. And I said, cool, no problem, let's do it. So we went back and forth like maybe 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And Butter blew my head off when he produced the drums, the way the panning of the drum feels. If you listen with some headphones, the way the stuff feels, the way he layered things at, the way the drum, the way the salt and pepper shaker, I mean, like somebody was shaking salt and pepper. And then I brought in a vocalist, Bianca Blush Atterbury. I've known Blush since she was 16 years old. One of her first experiences in the studio was at your mom's house. Bianca now writes for Disney. She just cut her deal to write songs and to do music for Disney. Also, Bianca was on television nationally because she just did the what's the song that they play at the beginning of football games?
Oh, are you ready for some football?
No,
national anthem?
She did the national anthem at the Rams game national yesterday. And get this.
Yeah.
She's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
She's from out Monroeville.
Yeah.
So when it comes to these young people seeing what's possible, Bianca just cut Demi Lovato's last record. Check out Demi Lovato's last record. Guess who penned it? She's from Monroeville, out Murraysville. So when she did the hums, I said, I want you to do like some very eerie. I don't even want you to sing words. I just want you to sing like you in the back of a church in the last pew on Easter. And she said, Emmai, say no more.
That's dope.
Then hold up. And when I got her vocals, guess who I sent the vocals to? Butter.
Of course.
Butter chopped up those vocals and he came out with that, which is phenomenal.
How did you feel about being a part of such a massive and powerful project, Butter?
I was honored. I mean, I quite honestly, and I think it's vice versa. We try to find opportunities to work together. You know what I mean? Emmai and myself, and I feel fortunate that he felt that, you know, I could pull it off, and that he reached out to me for this project, just because, you know, I love the purpose of it all. I think that it was powerful, just even in the concept in general. I thought about it, you know, something that you guys said, even in thinking about the drum aspect of it. I don't want to paraphrase, but I remember a while ago reading about a composer, and I can't remember who it was, and they went deaf for a disease, something, for whatever reason they went deaf.
Beethoven?
And Beethoven, may have been Beethoven, and he actually cut the legs off of his piano in order to actually still play and compose, because he could actually feel the music through the floor. So in thinking about not only that, but also thinking about the fact that, like, sign language, man, I didn't even though it says it's called sign language, I never really saw it, and it's out of my ignorance, as a language. It's a language. In and of itself, it is a language. And, you know, one thing I love about sign language, when you even see the video or see anyone sign, I used to watch people at church over in the corner, and they're just aggressive with it. Like, you know, and it causes you to have to, you know, have to be able to communicate, like laser focus communicate. You can't fumble with words, just no slang. It's not this, that, and the other. It's straight forward to the point. And I love that. And by looking at even the way that they would do it, I'm like, okay, I can only imagine how this would look with boom bap behind it, because hip hop is aggressive, and their faces and the way they moved their hands was aggressive. So I think the marriage between it all really was just phenomenal. And I'm fortunate to have been a part of the process.
Sound language also has a nice rhythm. When you watch them communicate with each other, they have a rhythm. And I think that's probably why the gentleman said you have to put music behind this, because we have the rhythm as well. And you nailed it masterfully. I salute you both for this. You've pushed this thing, both of you guys have pushed this thing so far, and gotten a lot of views. We were just talking about how many views you got from the Good Morning America. Millions of people watched that. Why do you think it was so powerful? Not powerful, but popular. Why do you think it caught on?
I think it caught on because there are 600,000 individuals in the United States and Canada who are deaf, hard of hearing, or those with disabilities. You also you have to think that 1/3 to 1/2 of individuals who are murdered by police have a disability.
Right.
Sandra Bland had a disability. Freddie Gray, Eric Garner. I mean, the list goes on. And you know, this year we're not celebrating, but we're recognizing that this is the 30-year anniversary of the Disability Act being passed. And a lot of people don't know this, but September is the National Deaf Awareness Month. So one of the reasons why I think it caught on is because right now we are at an intersection in American history that is unlike no other. And if individuals have the bandwidth on how important it is to be inclusive of individuals during a pandemic, what about the pandemic of being Black? What about the pandemic of COVID? But when it comes to individuals who are deaf, hard of hearing, or disabilities, that's 3 pandemics.
That's 3.
That's 3 pandemics. And if we are to really change diversity and inclusion beyond a 3-fold brochure that you would pick up on the way out of the office,
wow, yeah,
we have to peel back the layers that have been covered for so long. And when you think about discrimination for individuals with disabilities is insane. You know, the first schools for ASL was in the early 1800s, but the first schools for BASL, Black American Sign Language, was until the 1850s. And if you think about it, and I'm a member of NAACP, so you know I'm not knocking, but I just want to give the severity. There was a time the NAACP wouldn't let people with deaf people into you know, its membership. So there's just so many factors and nuances that surround individuals who are deaf, hard of hearing with disabilities that are fed up. And that's why I think so many people gravitated towards this 59-second public service announcement
Yeah.
that had just a little bit of script in it, but the people who were in it were a part of the deaf community. Me, Butter, Sydney, Jack, Danielle, Amy, Greg, Bianca, we didn't want to replace voices. We wanted to be advocates. The root word for advocate is advocare, which means to add a voice. We didn't want to replace the voice. We just wanted to add to it.
Perfect. Perfect.
Facts.
Well, you guys mastered it. You nailed it. When I seen it, it brought tears to my eyes because, you know, we're out here and we're saying we're doing so much for our communities, and there's so many things that we miss. And we should not miss, but we miss. And I was so proud that you did not miss this, that you brought this to the forefront. And I'm so honored that you guys allow me to talk to you all about this project because it's incredible. And I play it on our network. I can continue to play it. I'm going to play it for as long as it'll spin because it needs to continue to be played. It should be in continuous rotation everywhere because it's not going to change. They're going to be who they are. They need to be heard, so it needs to get played, period, until this epidemic of us being slain changes. This PSA will continue to be important. So I salute you both for that. Before we get out of here, and we're going to start with you, Butter, tell us what you guys are into now. Because I know you like doing stuff for Disney, Butter. Like, what are you guys touching right now real quick?
You want me to go or Emmai?
You can go first.
No, but
Oh, okay. Well, my wife and I have a production company, so beyond working on projects, because this is the time for anybody during this pandemic. If you're not doing nothing, you best to be getting your stuff together. Because once things do open up, you're going to be left behind if you're not already prepared. So, in saying that to say, we've been developing different shows and animation things. I got a couple different animations that I'm working on that are past the pre-production stage in rough animation, as well as doing Raven's Home. I'm a composer on Raven's Home right now. So, you know, that, doing a gospel record for my wife, just juggling, doing so many things, just trying to plant seeds, sis.
Yes,
Plant seeds.
Yes, brother. What about you, Queen? What you into now, family?
So I am, doing a lot of films. I'm working on a film called The Gray Area, which examines the parallel relationships between Jewish and African Americans as it relates to, the Holocaust and then also the transatlantic Holocaust for slavery. Working on a lot of projects with the Roots. Just finished a project with Lin-Manuel Miranda. And a few others, and just really trying to continue with Hip Hop on Lock that's currently in school systems, the Propel school system, environmental charter school, after school programs, that's still doing well. Optic Voices, which is my interactive photography exhibit that examines social change. We are doing a full-blown exhibit at the August Wilson African American Cultural Center in January of 2021. So that's very huge. And working on a national exhibit called Mama's Boys, Optic Voices Mama's Boys, which actually examines mothers of sons who have been killed with gun violence. So giving them a platform to really speak on their story as well. And, just really just trying to focus on being a great dad, an outstanding husband to my wife, and just, trying to do more in the arts. I'm not sure if you guys know, but I'm on the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts under Governor Tom Wolf. So I represent 67 counties across the state of Pennsylvania on getting grants and funding for arts organizations.
Nice. We got someone on our side in there. Y'all heard it? Well, my good brothers, we're going to play this PSA one more time before we leave. But I just want to say thank you. I'm humbly grateful that you guys were on my show and was patient enough to get through this with us. And I am your media, so whenever you want to bring anything here, showcase anything here, or anything planned on our network, please, by all means, let me know. I'll be more than grateful and honored to do so. If people want to reach out to you or see your work, let's start with you, E-Man, and come back down. If they want to see your work, where can they find your work?
Absolutely. You can catch me on IG, Instagram, EMMAI_ALAQUIV as in Victor A. You can also go to yourmomshouse.com. We've been around for almost 20 years. Opticvoices.org. And more importantly, we encourage you to continue this conversation surrounding deaf, hard of hearing, and those with disabilities by logging on to Unspeakable BLM.org.
Yes, sir. What about you, Butter?
All of my social media is Butterman1. So that's BUDDAMANN, the number 1. Or people can get at me through my website, which is butteranderson.com.
Hey, thank you so much, my brother. We're going to watch this PSA one more time, you guys. Unspeakable Black Lives Matter. Please watch, share it. If you see it on the internet, it is on YouTube. Find the video, share it. Let everybody know it does exist. Have this conversation. Do not be afraid of this conversation because we are all affected by it. Y'all have a beautiful as you day. And my brothers, don't hang up. But thank you so much. This has been a special edition of Go Live TV Hour. Check us out on grindcity.biz. Watch Grind City TV mobile app on Google Play or add us on Roku. Grind City TV Network, y'all. Peace.